I'm gonna come right off the back and say I wish this game had a campaign of some sorts instead of just multiple experiment missions. I mean, it's okay to play when you don't want to be on the online aspect, but I wish this game could have had something. It could have had an okay story mode, a story mode where in the Resident Evil franchise we never really got a chance to play as the Umbrella side of things. I mean, Operation Raccoon City tried, but it did not work out well. Umbrella Corps had a second chance to make us know what it's like to be in the boots of a Umbrella soldier of our own customization, but they didn't do it. Whether they didn't think people would like that, or they just didn't have the time or the money and the budget. Because trust me, this is a budget title, but it's okay. Not all budget titles are terrible. I mean, look at a lot of budget titles. A lot of budget titles later on have cult followings, and this is an okay game. It'll have its cult status one day, but that's the one part I really needed to get out the way. What this game does have is a surprisingly good customization. I mean, it's not the most detailed, but for the game that it has a unique set of things. You can customize your character cosmetically. There is no microtransactions, which I am very impressed about, and for once, it shows that even a budget title game doesn't need microtransactions to have customizable parts. Like, you could customize patches, icons, your outfit, and if you bought the deluxe edition of this game, you can even customize your character to look like certain Resident Evil characters, like Chris, Hunk, Leon, Jake, Wesker, and Barry. Barry Burton. But other than that, you can also customize your backpack, your shoulder pads, the colors, the layouts, especially when it comes to weapons. Weapons, they do have a fair amount of weapons. They just don't have assault rifles. This game is mainly SMGs, shotguns, pistols, grenades, and hand-to-hand melee weapons. But for the small environments, because this game is a 3v3, the small environments work for the weapon advantages, and each weapon has its own set of stats, skills, and customizable colors. Also, it has attachments, scopes. You have a handful of scopes, you have a handful of silencers, you have a handful of reticle sights, you also have a handful of secondary weapons, secondary pistols, and the grenades, multiple different types of grenades, also hand-to-hand melee weapons, but the melee weapons are a tricky thing to pull off. Melee in this game is if you can melee somebody in this game, it is the dominant factor. That's the one issues. I wish they would have balanced the melee. I mean, melee in most multiplayer games can be outrageous, but I do like the designs of the melee weapons. They're really cool looking, such as the axes. But anyway, a lot of people will think I'm crazy, but I do like its multi-mission type of game modes. You have one life deathmatch, which is like search and destroy mixed with TDM, and you have multi-mission mode, which can have result of TDM, capture the flag, or capture the briefcases, hunt down specific enemy creatures on the map, also hunting down MVP players, or collecting DNA samples. These game modes can vary. They vary each time, but it also depends the map you're playing on. The unique set of maps, like my favorite map of the whole game, is they recreated Resident Evil 1's Spencer Mansion, and I've always wanted to have a multiplayer type of Resident Evil with me just playing with either friends or online players inside the mansion. I always thought multiplayer in the mansion would have been really, really cool. The only thing is, it's set with the lights on. It's like the sun is beaming in, which takes away kind of like the horror aspect. It would have been cool if the map was late at night, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. Like I said, this is a budget title. Each map has two different variations. Some maps can be fully open, or sometimes they'll choose smaller variation where only certain rooms are unlocked just to make the gameplay faster. But there's a lot of choke points where enemies can camp and hide. That's the only beef I have. And you can choose your weapon loadouts just like in Call of Duty. The controls are very tricky to master. Like, you would have to really be on point with your controls in this game. Like, even when you crawl, you can move really fast, or when you melee, you can swing really fast. So I mean, I guess they wanted to make the action very fast paced, and It's not very fluent. Sometimes it can be kind of jerky, but you would be too distracted with what you're doing to even notice some of its movement. And sometimes aiming down the sights can be a pain in the ass because you can go into first person. I wish they would have had both third person aiming and first person aiming, but you know what? It's alright with me. Last thing I want to talk about with this game is, yes, look, it's not a AAA Resident Evil title. It's not like the others. You know, I reviewed Resident Evil 4, which is my favorite out of the series, and hopefully once Resident Evil 7 comes out, like in January or February, I think that's when it releases, I'm going to play that too, and I am going to probably enjoy that the most. But you know what? This game is a multiplayer based Resident Evil to hold you over, because the other games are just mainly co-op. They're not really built for competitive modes, and the 3v3 component really works because you would have to work as a team, especially in the multi-mission modes. But the final game mode I do want to talk about is 4-player survival. This is where it becomes more like a survival to the fittest, where 4 players are dumped in a classic area of any Resident Evil map. You pick up items, weapons, and supplies, and also have to either fight each other or survive the zombies. If someone damages your sensor jammer, the zombies will detect you, because that's one thing reviews have not. So that's why some reviews, you can't listen to most AAA reviewers, because sometimes they'll say that they'll bring up things that don't need to be brought up, which can be debunked, such as the reason why zombies don't see you when you even run in front of them is you have a zombie sensor on your neck. But it can even wear off at times, or if it's jammed or damaged, yes, they will see you. But in 4-player survivor, the jammer is always off, so they will see you. In the multiplayer competitive modes, the jammer's off. But remember, this game, it was a budget title. All the Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 have been remastered. This game came out like in between. Look, it's not great. It has its fair share of issues, but if you play with your friends and if you love Resident Evil, you could give this a go. I mean, I do want this game to have a good fan base. It does deserve a second look. If you haven't played it yet and you're cautious, give it a try, get some friends, and you won't hate it.